Gennady Golovkin says that Canelo Alvarez is horrible for boxing. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Triple G had a invitation-only media day yesterday, and link in the description. He had a lot to say about Canelo, but then he also said he didn't want to talk about Canelo. So I want to go over some of the quotes and then give my reaction, thoughts to it. Triple G did an interview, and he seems pretty appalled by Canelo Alvarez and people who support him. So we'll get into some of the Triple G quotes. Triple G says that Canelo was supposed to fight him in September, but didn't want to. He said it was not a big surprise that he's fighting Kovalev instead. No, this is not a surprise. Nobody understands why. Of course he wants to fight against Kovalev. He talks with him. I don't know what that means. We had business for September 14th, and Canelo said, no, it's finished. I forgot him, and I went on my road, my generation, and I had a good experience the last couple of years. I know this guy. I know his promotion. Look right now, every time bad situation. He said, no, okay, because I know this guy. I don't understand who supports this guy for business or anything. I have experience, and I have partner and relationship with DAZN. Who supports this guy? He's horrible for boxing, for business, for everything. He showed his face. He talks very bad about his promoter, his matchmaker, his manager. I don't want to touch these guys, not for me. He says, it's better if I have a fight with Canelo. If he's not coming like last time in their fight, it's no problem. I have a lot of guys, great champions, and I have a lot of options. Right now, I work with great people, Eddie Hearn, with corporations. Why not? I have a lot of good ideas for future. Right now, I feel so strong. He knows. I've had a lot of sparring. If he says it's better for him to fight Sergey Kovalev, okay. If he doesn't want what people want, if he doesn't want fight with me like last, he knows we had a good contract with DAZN and good options for this September, last September. He doesn't want. That's okay. Nobody supports, nobody likes fans like people from this business. He showed his face. He talked really bad about the promoter, matchmaker, and manager. I don't want to touch these guys. It's not for me. I told you my situation now with DAZN. It's good. If we have a fight, this is good for business because this is a business, crazy business. If he doesn't fight, if he doesn't like the fight with me, not yet. Okay, I forgot. He says, fighting Derevyanchenko, there's a lot at stake. This is a little more scary. He says just knowing what the pressures of fighting, basically. He says he's not sure what Canelo, Kovalev, if it's good or bad or what it means. He said these are two different guys. Kovalev is probably the same weight as Canelo, but he's taller. Canelo, he feels very good for this weight, not like Kovalev. Yes and no for both. A lot of points from Kovalev's side, a lot of points from Canelo's side. I agree this is good for fans. This is so interesting. I like this Kovalev because it's so much money. This is a good deal for him. So he's got more bonuses for this fight. I like this fight because this really helps Sergey. Now, one thing I noticed about this particular interview is it was really choppy, like hard to understand some of Golovkin's responses. Like, you ask Golovkin a pretty decent, straightforward question, and then he'd be like, it'd just be weird. You'd be like, hey, Golovkin, what time is it? It's boxing. Yeah, big drama. Anything happen, yeah. And, the answers were, like, real roundabout. So it's kind of hard to sit through. But about what he's saying, listen, DAZN has immensely dropped the ball. I really believe that. Here's why. Canelo Triple G3, if they really wanted to make the fight, first of all, they should have put it in Canelo's contract so he doesn't have a say, because they're the one paying the wages for these fighters, right? That's one thing. Two, have something in writing that stipulates, okay, you can fight two people of your choice, just like what HBO did with Andre Ward. They said, okay, take 2 fights, then we need you to fight Kovalev. We're footing the bill, so we want the Kovalev fight on our network on pay-per-view. DAZN should have, if they wanted this fight so bad, they should have done that, had it in writing, so Canelo couldn't just say, oh, I don't want to fight him because I'm done with that chapter. Because De La Hoya, it's very obvious that he told DAZN he could make it happen, but I don't know if anyone could imagine and see that Canelo would insist on not fighting Golovkin. And I think DAZN signed Golovkin under the pretense that he was going to get a Canelo fight. Like, he had options from ESPN and PBC, and then he ended up choosing the DAZN offer because he probably thought, within a couple fights he would get Canelo. That doesn't seem to be the case, at least right now. Now Canelo's going in with a, somewhat dangerous fight with Kovalev in the higher weight. Kovalev's fighting Derevyanchenko. You never know what's going to happen. So I think DAZN just really dropped the ball. The other thing is the belts were all kind of contained really on DAZN. And through not making necessary fights, we don't have an undisputed middleweight fight. And it looks harder to facilitate now. At one point, after Canelo unified with Jacobs, had, instead of Triple G fighting Steve Rolls, had Triple G fought Demetrius Andrade, the winner of that would be the WBO champion. That would have been the only belt that Canelo needed. Canelo said he wanted to be the middleweight champion of the world. Boom, boom, boom. So the winners of Canelo Jacobs could have fought, and they could have staged a fight with Triple G and Andrade. And that would have been better ratings than Triple G versus Rolls. It would have been more meaningful. And then now you have a super fight for undisputed. Either Canelo Triple G 3, Canelo, and, well, we know Canelo got past Jacobs. Andrade versus Triple G is not a thing, so we don't know. So it would have been either Canelo versus Triple G 3 for undisputed, or Canelo versus Andrade for undisputed. But now they let the IBF strip Canelo. Triple G and Derevyanchenko are now fighting for that belt. And then they let Andrade keep his belt. Nobody knows when he's fighting next. We just have to sit and wait for them to get somebody out the woodwork that no one wants to see Boo Boo fight. And now Charlo got leveled up to a full-body WBC champion. And Canelo, his side looked bad as they made him the franchise champion out of nowhere. They just made up a title and a belt for Canelo specifically. Just horrible sequence. Now he's fighting Kovalev after saying all year that he wanted to be middleweight undisputed. So it just looks bad. As far as Triple G, he didn't get his way. I'm assuming he signed to DAZN thinking he was going to get the third fight with Canelo, set that straight because he thinks he won the first 2 or whatever. And now here we are. The other thing is Triple G Derevyanchenko has been horrifically promoted. I don't see really any genuine interest. I'm sure some people, like the diehard boxing fans, will watch, but all in all, hasn't been promoted good. Errol Spence and Sean Porter are fighting probably a week before Triple G Derevyanchenko, and I've seen non-stop programming. They're doing satellite feed interviews with Errol Spence. They're doing like a Camp Life type series. They're doing a face-off. They had both of them at NFL games and NFL studios. They're promoting in between the NFL. Fox has done a really good job. Can't say the same with Triple G's next fight, less than 2 weeks, and I haven't heard much about it. And they did an impromptu invite-only media day that didn't really make no noise. So, Triple G's whole career, the latter part of it at least, has been based around Canelo. Canelo's movement, who Canelo's fighting, if Canelo fails a drug test, these types of things. Other than that, no one's really talking about Triple G because he's not, like Canelo said, Triple G is not taking the risk himself. So he's trying to embarrass or put pressure or insult Canelo, but career-wise, he's not, like Canelo said, he's not taking the risk that build any significant interest. At the end of the day, what's a tougher fight? Canelo moving up as the shorter person, fighting Kovalev, or Triple G versus Derevyanchenko, who he was supposed to already have fought last year and opted not to fight Vanes Martirosyan, you know. And we've seen Derevyanchenko getting hurt in his last fight with Jack Kukule, who just moved up to 160 from 54. Plus, we've seen Jacobs beat him and drop him, and this is who Triple G's fighting. Plus, has been ill promoted. So, you know, while Triple G's bashing Canelo or, you know, saying why does anyone support him, you know, is whatever. Then the other thing is, Triple G has said at the invite only media thing, he said he don't want to talk about Canelo, but he does an interview with Fight Hub, and that's all he's talking about. Majority of the interview is Canelo. So it's really just a bad look, and it's all over the place. Either you want to talk about the guy or you don't. You feel a type of way because he didn't give you the third fight. You know, it sounds like Triple G's scoring, but he's talking about moving to 68. He's been him and his team, since he had Abel Sanchez, talked about moving to 68, 75, but they haven't done it. Meanwhile, Canelo moved up from 54, 55 to 160, fought at 164.5 already, had some type of fight at 168 with Rocky Fielding, and now they're about to fight at 175. So really, if you think about it, Triple G's team said they could fight anyone from 54 to 75, yet they haven't moved anywhere. And Triple G is bigger than Canelo, you know. Meanwhile, Canelo has at least had fights in all of those divisions. He will have by the time he fights Kovalev. Triple G just keeps talking about, you know, moving up to 68. And he also said something in this interview that was laughable. He said that nobody at 68 wanted to fight him, which is not true. He says, right now, everyone asks me about moving up to 168 super middleweight. I was ready 10 years ago. I stayed at 160, and so many people don't want to fight with me. So I got to 168, 175, and nobody won. I'm not a big guy. That's a lie. That's cap, because Andre Ward wanted to fight. And he called you Little G, and nothing was done. So, you know, it looks just kind of like Triple G's, the way he was marketed and stuff is just running dry. That's just what it is. He doesn't seem as relevant, and I think that's what Canelo's doing. I don't think Triple G. I think Canelo wants Triple G to stand on his own too, without his brand, without his name. And we're seeing now that he's not connected to Canelo, because even you have to imagine, even when he was fighting Dominique Wade and stuff, his name was still attached to Canelo. People wanted to see Canelo Triple G, not Triple G versus Dominique Wade, but they watched those fights thinking Canelo could be next or whatever the situation is. But now, after Canelo beat him in the second fight, the interest level for Triple G has exponentially dropped. And I think Canelo wants to keep it there. I mean, I don't know Canelo. I haven't talked to him or whatever, but I think he wants Triple G to be irrelevant and not be able to use his name and not have DAZN attach their name. And, you know, he just wants to starve him out, basically. And it looks to be working, because you don't really see the same interest. It's because, like I said, Triple G's second part of his career has either been attached to people thinking the Canelo fight could be next, you know, so we're waiting, and then they're thinking they're going to get a rematch. But now that Canelo's separating himself and not mentioning Triple G and starving him out, Triple G's forced to build his own fights and promote his own fights without attaching his name. Kind of like similar to Mayweather-Pacquiao. Once Mayweather beat Pacquiao, you know, it kind of released that cloud that was, you know, the cloud dissipated that was above that, because we already got an answer on who's the better fighter. And that's kind of what it is with Canelo. Like, they've already fought, and Canelo's separating himself, going on with his career. So Triple G, he really has to keep mentioning Canelo's name a lot more than Canelo has to mention his name. That's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Triple G said he doesn't know how people support Canelo, but he's fighting Derevyanchenko, and Canelo's fighting Kovalev at light heavyweight. So drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.